Mexico City on the way to the state of Oaxaca, we see along the roadside two little brothers, one 7 and the other 8 years old. You might think they're working, and they are, but they really enjoy it. Here at a mountain stream, a little girl is being taught to wash clothes. This looks like work too, but the children of Mexico do not think so. They have very few toys, and so after school and in the summertime when there is no school, they play by helping their mothers and their fathers. Another familiar sight is a cart called a carreta. This one has an axle made from the rear end of an old automobile. And these 3 laughing Mexican boys are going out to help their father with his work in the fields. Like the men and the women and the children of Mexico, the burros do their share of the work too. These, on a street in the city of Oaxaca, are carrying huge loads of corn stalks. After the corn has been harvested for the making of tortillas and other food products, the stalks are gathered and sold as food for the burros and the oxen. And this is the pottery yard of Senor Jimenez. After pottery is made, it is painted and then baked or fired in a kiln. The kiln of Senor Jimenez is the tall chimney-like structure in the right-hand corner of the yard. Senor Jimenez says that members of his family have operated the same place for more than 100 years. He is now a teacher in the high school in the city of Oaxaca, and these nicely dressed girls were members of where they learned to decorate pottery. The color, crude homemade brushes, famous. Many pieces are painted with thin, watery paint which runs together and adds blazes of color like the ones in this lovely vase Senor Jimenez is holding. The potter's wheel is a very ancient device for the making of vases and other turned ware. Of course, in the large factories in the cities of Mexico, modern machinery is used, and their product compares favorably with pottery made in the United States. In the country districts, however, and even in the cities and the small shops, the potter's wheel is still in daily use. And this man, with only his bare hands, a piece of broken bottle, a scrap of wet leather, and a string, creates another vase, such as the one Senor Jimenez was holding a moment ago. The string is used to cut the finished vase from the unused clay. By laying it against the bottom of the vase and holding tightly to only one end, the turning of the wheel pulls the string through and gives a clean, absolutely horizontal base. And the motive power? The feet. The invention of the foot wheel was made about the time of the building of the pyramids in Egypt and was a tremendous advance in the making of turned pottery. It left both hands free for the forming of the piece being made, and a smoother and much more symmetrical job could be done. The Spaniards introduced this type of pottery making when they came to Mexico about 400 years ago. Before that, the Indians were using a much more primitive method, and this primitive method in one particular district still survives today. Here, in the little village of San Bartolo Coyotepec, is the home of Rosa and her children. In this little village, more than half the people devote their lives to the making of the black pottery of Coyotepec, and they still use the ancient method of their forefathers. The cantaro, which we see here on the ground, is a round pot with a narrow neck, so made that it can be carried upon the head or shoulders filled with water without spilling. Rosa is a Zapotec Indian, and she wears her rebosa not as a shawl, but as a turban in the manner of her people. And then, with a lump of clay dug from a pit near her home, Rosa begins the making of a cantaro. Look at the two saucer-like bowls that Rosie is using. One is upside down, and the other right side up, and the pot rests in the one on top. This strange device for the making of turned ware was used by many primitive peoples all over the world, long before the potter's wheel with foot power was thought of. The walls of the pot must be the same thickness all over, or they will break when firing in the kiln, and so Rosa adds to the end rows larger in the center. And here's a really close look at the two saucer-like bowls in which the pot is being made. They've been constantly spinning without ever slipping off. The two bowls must be of the same size and curvature to work properly and must fit the bottom of the contado being made. The neck, which Rosie is putting on now, is very important. The turned-down lip makes the contents pour easier and also provides a place to fasten a rope. After the pots have dried overnight, they are put out in the shade of a tree to warm slightly. Later, they are moved out into the sunlight to get really hot. When they are put into the kiln, they must be just as hot as the oven, under which a slow fire has already been burning. Any sudden change of temperature would crack the pots and ruin them. The oven of the kiln is just a round hole in the ground lined with adobe bricks. Here, the dark gray pots are placed and propped against slipping or rolling with bits of broken pottery from previous firings. When the oven has been filled, it is covered over with other broken pieces, and then the actual firing begins. This primitive type of kiln does not have a separate chimney for the fire, and so the fumes and smoke and flames pass right up through the openings between the pots themselves. In this terrific heat, only an overnight firing is necessary, and the combination of the wood smoke and the dark gray clay makes the pots black. Wood is added to the fire from another hole dug in the ground, and as the kiln must grow hot very slowly, just the tip of the firewood is put in at first. It is early the next morning now, and the pots have baked all night long. And here they are, on their way to the market in the city of Oaxaca, many long, weary miles away. People from the small villages all over Mexico, however, in spite of the long walk and the heavy burdens, look forward to the one day of the week when it's market day in the town nearest their village. At the market, there is all the excitement of the crowds and the busy streets and the strange sights, old but ever new. And they know also they will see friends and relatives from other villages, such as these perhaps, who are also bound to place in the city of Oaxaca. Barefooted, they trudge along, carrying their burdens in their hands, in their arms, and upon their heads. On other roads from the distant countryside, looking forward to a day of happiness and pleasure. On foot and on their burros, they stream past as we pause for a close look at the many types of Zapotec Indians who live in the state of Oaxaca. And here is the market in this city of Oaxaca with its buyers and its sellers. Look at this basket of flowers. All the Indians love flowers and skimp on food sometimes to buy them. And through the crowded, busy streets come the pots. And here, stacked in a market stall, waiting from Taros, from San Bartolo, Coyotepec.